Welcome to Guest of the Year. I'm the host. My name's Mike. Today we've got 4 deadheads from around the country competing for a $50 gift card to REI and a spot in next week's show. Here's how the game works. We'll play the first part of a Grateful Dead live track, and each contestant will use the messaging system to silently guess which year their performance is from. Contestants, who are all on video chat to prevent any possibility of cheating, can submit their guesses at any time during the clip or in the 10 seconds after it concludes. Whoever is furthest from the correct year is eliminated. The last 2 deadheads standing will have a best of 3 series to determine a winner. We've got our returning champion Cooper here with us, and we'll meet the rest of the deadheads in a moment. But first, let's hear the first song. Without further ado, The Grateful Dead.
With the rose sitting out of the dark, it goes punching garland in the wind and the rain. Wherever he goes, the people all complain. Stephen prospered in his time. Well, it may and it may decline. Did it matter? Does it now? Stephen would dancer if they only knew how.
All right, the guesses are in. It was St. Stephen at the Auditorium Theater in Chicago on August 24th, 1971. The titular St. Stephen was a 1st century martyr who unfortunately was stoned to death. So Nate got it exactly. He was the only one who got it exactly. Nate is 22 and he's from York, Pennsylvania. Nate, what'd you hear there?
So for me, the main giveaway was the single drummer. I only heard Billy in the background there. It's got to be 71 to 74 at that point, and St. Stephen kind of fell off around 72. It sounded quite early, so I went with 71. And yeah, the auditorium, it sounded very similar to, I think that's Dick's Picks 35 is somewhere around there in August 71. So it sounded very, very familiar.
And how'd you get into the Dead?
So in college, I was really into hip hop at first, and that got really boring really quick. So I started getting into psychedelic rock, actually, like Ultimate Spinach, the popular ones like Pink Floyd and stuff. And then I slowly just stumbled upon the studio albums for the Dead. Fire on the Mountain was actually the one that got me on the bus. I played that one nonstop for a while, and eventually made my way through the entire Spotify catalog. And now I do all my listening from re-listen.
So you started on studio albums then?
Yeah, it lasted probably on studio albums for a couple months. It wasn't too long. It was probably like 3 or 4 months before I exhausted all of their studio albums. They don't have too many. And I liked most of it so much that I was like, all right, time to get into it. The thing about coming from the psychedelic aspect is I know some people come from the folk aspect. I come from the psychedelic background, so I do tend to lean towards more of the 71 and earlier, more primal Dead is typically where I listen to 68, 69. So I'm a little worried about the 90s, but this one was right in my ballpark.
So you're into that like acid test Dead?
Oh yeah. Some 66 where they sound like the Beatles for some reason. They got a real poppy tune to them. I love that. That's one of my favorite eras of the Dead. I feel like it's a little underrated. Pigpen is one of my favorites. I think he does a ton of great songs early on that just fall off. Alligator, top 10 song of mine. They stopped playing it way too early.
That's really cool, Nate. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Ryan and Gemma both guessed 1970, and they're both on the next round. Gemma, you are 42 and you're from Nottingham, England. Why'd you guess 1970?
Yeah, Sound of Jerry's Guitar was number one. That's slightly not quite tinny, but there's a lighter fairy fingers kind of thing going on for Jerry. I was listening for the drummer too, and I didn't remember when Mickey went out, so I was listening, and so I couldn't quite tell. Sounded single drummer, but wasn't too sure. But yeah, it was definitely Jerry, and the tenor of Bobby and Jerry's voices together. Jerry sounds so much younger. He's got that quality, and it was just clean and crisp. The crowd were going crazy too. I was trying to listen to the crowd, see how big the crowd was, and they loved that song. It was great.
And how'd you get into the Dead, Gemma?
I had tickets to two shows about 8 years ago. I think it was 20. A while ago, and it was Further's last show at Red Rocks, and I decided to go to that one because the guy got VIP tickets, but I had no idea who Further was. I had no idea who the Grateful Dead was. I had no clue as to any of that, which was surprising because my dad was the biggest Bob Dylan fan you could ever have known. That's what I grew up on, Bob Dylan's vinyl back catalogue. But he never mentioned Grateful Dead, and there was nothing even touching that in that catalog. It was Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan, all of the beatnik kinds. So when I went further, it was incredible. I mean, first show, Red Rocks, it was just beautiful. And just the energy there was amazing. I had a really great time, and I came back after that, and for the next few years, devoured everything that I could, really, down to really terrible audio recordings, actually, following on from your previous conversation, some crowd recordings, really bad. But I listened to everything that I could, and slowly worked my way through. And I love the early stuff as well. There's that late 60s stuff is my favorite Dead. So I'm with you on that one there.
So had you been listening to jam bands before the Further show?
Yeah, not really. I wouldn't have classed them as jam bands necessarily. They are sometimes, aren't they? They're rock and roll, man, and and good old American rock and roll. You know, you can listen to certain songs and never think that the Dead are who they are, or what they were. You could just listen to the classic rock and roll, trucking, and all of that. So no, it was amazing when I started finding those more psychedelic, more the Dead movie too. The Dead movie that made a huge impact on me. So seeing that, and then moving to that more psychedelia. But no, I don't necessarily class them as a jam band. Is that wrong? Maybe it's wrong, but no, I think that they've got so much that you can choose from, even if you don't like, you know, psychedelic music. If you don't like folk music, for example, you can find something in there that you'll really enjoy.
I like your characterization that they're a rock band that jams. That's a nice compromise.
Yeah. Not too much noodling. It's not noodling. The noodling that they do is it's art. It's art, and I feel that with the Dead. With some of the jam bands, I'm like, you know, let's move on. But the Dead, I could listen to jam all day.
Have you gotten into other or other types of bands that jam?
Not really. You'd have to name a few. Like, so I'm not particularly a Fish fan. That doesn't do it for me. They're a jam band, right? I'm
Yeah,
English, so you have to you know, educate me on your culture a little bit. No, I don't think so. I got into, all of my friends were really into bluegrass when I first came over here to Colorado specifically. So I saw a lot of bluegrass, and adding on to that, then I discovered Old and in the Way. Right. So then I went back to that, and I was like, oh, that's what bluegrass is. Okay. That I like. So I think the more traditional bluegrass stuff is more up my alley than stuff today. But I wouldn't say I'm into any other jam bands. Afraid not.
Welcome, Gemma. and thanks for that. Ryan is 32 and he's from Traverse City, Michigan. You guessed 1970 as well. You're on to the next round. Ryan, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I didn't hear any piano. I figured it was before 72. Also heard the single drummer, and I was reminded that I meant to look up when Mickey left the band and realized I forgot to do that. So glad to be moving on.
I've looked that up a million times and I've read books about it, and I still have to think about it every single time. I'm like, yeah. And how'd you get into the Dead?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Ezra Koenig from Vampire Weekend. He has a Apple Music show called Time Crisis where they play the Dead a lot. So I started talking about the Dead, and I grew up a big like classic rock fan, digging into rock history and stuff. And that was sort of a corner I had never explored. So I was like, huh, this is something I could maybe dig into. Really loved it. I love, obviously they have a ton of history to dig into. And I love how, they have changed their sound throughout the years. And big Spring 90 guy. That's my favorite.
Wow, Spring 90. I love it. I never heard that one before. Why'd you like Spring 90 so much?
To me, it's like when like Brent comes into his own, right? And they really kind of tap into that soft rock vibe at the time that was popular, sort of that Bryan Adams sort of sound. I dig it. And it's like all these classic songs that they had, played for years and years, but now they have this totally new sound.
So I actually saw Vampire Weekend and they had a Dead cover band open for them, Richard Pictures, and Ezra clearly had like tapped them. Does he talk about Richard Pictures on his show?
Yeah, so that the front man of that band is the co-host with him.
Oh.
Yeah. Is this Chicago?
I saw them in Ojai, California, and it was really small, and I didn't know that the cover band was opening. And I was just like, oh, some local guys or something. And they just break into Not Fade Away. And I was like, holy shit. Like, not only do I get to see Vampire Weekend, I get to see a fucking Dead cover band. It's great.
Yeah. I saw them open in Chicago too. It was sweet.
Oh, Richard Pictures?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fuck, how'd they sound?
I think that was like the 2 shows they did. It was awesome. It's a really cool time.
And then did Vampire Weekend jam a bit?
Yeah, I would say jam adjacent. Not quite getting there, but a few more solos. Yeah.
Cool. Ryan, welcome. Cooper is our returning champion. He is 21. He's from Deep River, Connecticut. He had audio issues. It's really fucked up. You guessed 1969. I'm sorry that you didn't get to hear the whole song. Cooper, what'd you hear there in the half song you heard?
You know what it was? It was like less like what I was hearing that messed me up on my own memory. So in my mind, I was like, okay, St. Stephen, I know they played it late, came in the late 60s. I know that they brought it back in 77 and then again in 83. But in my mind, it just did not go beyond the late 60s. So that was my problem, where I was just like, wasn't thinking 71 because I was thinking 69 was the latest it could be. But I also didn't really trust myself because I could hear where everybody got 70 from. So tough way to go out, but it's been a pleasure. So,
Cooper, you're a classy guy. It probably would have helped to hear the whole song. You saw the Dead cover band last weekend, right? How were they?
Yes, I did. They were outstanding. I'm trying to think what the highlight was. They did A Killer, Help Slip, but now I'm trying to remember what it went into. It wasn't Franklin's. Anyway, those guys are great. And you guys are talking about Vampire Weekend, and there's one of the guys, is it Chris Thompson, is also in another jam band with the bassist from Real Estate called Taper's Choice. They're really good too. So check them out.
Whoa. The bassist from Real Estate also is in a jam band. Wow.
Yeah, he's awesome. I met him outside a show in New Haven last fall. I love Real Estate, and you can hear the Dead's influence on him and like their modern playing, because like he improvises like crazy on bass, which like he doesn't if you listen to like their studio stuff from 2009 or whatever.
Cool, Cooper. Well, thank you for playing. We'll be back for the Tournament of Champions, and yeah, great round.
Awesome.
All right. Ryan, Nate, and Gemma are continuing on to the next round, vying for 2 spots in the best of 3 series to determine the winner. Let's play the song. right, the guesses are in. They love each other at Cornell University on May 8th, 1977. Cornell 77 is often referred to as the greatest Dead show ever. Bob Weir remarked on the concert, "I can't remember that one specifically." Nate and Gemma both guessed 1974. They were closer than Ryan, who guessed 1973. Gemma and Nate are both on the final. Nate, we'll start with you. Why 74?
Man, I was real close between 77, 78, and 74. The reason I went with 74 is I could swear I only heard one drummer. So I was thinking, but it didn't sound like that They Love Each Other that you expect from 73, where it's real quick. They do it real fast when they first start playing it. That was pushing me towards 77 being a little bit slower, but then I only heard one drummer, so I had to commit to the 74. That's what threw me for a loop right there.
Well, you're on in the next round. Gemma, what'd you hear there?
Yeah, I'll second Nate there. I was listening hard for that second drum. Possibly it was there. Maybe Mickey hadn't like come in yet. Maybe, but yeah, that was the issue. I sounded like it. I thought it might be later. For I don't know why. And Jerry's voice sounded great. It had that lighter touch, less kind of drudgy or druggy, and then of course Miss Donna comes in. So yeah, I don't know. That was a tough one. It was kind of just went with my gut towards the end. Yeah, 70 something. So
Well, congrats. You're on to the final as well. Ryan, you guessed 73. 1 year off. Heartbreak. Sorry. What'd you hear that made you guess 73?
All good. Yeah. Again, I thought I heard the single drummer there. Kind of just took a shot in the dark. Vocal sounded really good. Just took a shot.
Yeah, so I'm sure you've listened to this Cornell 77 show before, but maybe just not in a little while.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course, it's a great show. Haven't pinpointed it in a while. I actually just sold the vinyl box set for $500. But
Vinyl box set of what?
of May 8th, 77. Yeah.
No way. How many vinyls were in the box set?
Too many, man. You're getting up every every 20 minutes. It's not a relaxing experience. Originally bought it for like $80 or something, but vinyls was market was real hot there for a while. Had to let go of it.
That's sick. How did where did you sell it for 500? Like on where? How did you sell it?
Discogs, man.
Are you liquidating the vinyls, or is it just like a one-off, like getting rid of the?
Yeah. I sell a lot of the ones that I can part with, I guess. Made a good chunk of change. Good side gig.
Sick. So you like kind of wheel and deal.
Yeah, I have like 600 records that I've accumulated over the years, and yeah, the past couple of years it's gotten real hot. I guess the kids like to put them on their walls and stuff, so you can get a lot more for them than you bought them for. So it's worth it to me. I can move to digital at certain prices, right?
Sorry, just opened up a whole new line of questioning here. Sorry. So 600 records. So did you start buying these when you're quite young, right? Because you're only 32.
Yeah. I had a neighbor that would collected records and would take me to shops and stuff. So I started then, and yeah, just over the years, built up quite the collection. Now I'm going the other way.
Yeah, where was that inflection point? Like, when did you like, all right, I'm gonna start selling these things?
Past 3 years. I mean, yeah, the vinyl market just got really hot to where the point where it was like, all right, I don't listen to these things enough, and some of these they go for 100, 200, So at that point, got to switch to Apple Music.
So that's how you listen to the Dead now, or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Do you have like a dope sound system or something?
Yeah. So I have like have 4 speakers that are like sort of facing each other. Subwoofer, kind of a pseudo surround sound system going on. I got a 5-disc CD player to listen to Dave's picks. So I got the Dave's Picks subscription for next year. Pumped for that.
Luke was saying the same thing. He's got the 5-disc changer and you just pop them all in.
Yeah, you don't have to sit down. It's not like the vinyl where you have to get up. Yeah, you can just sit down and relax.
Damn, I respect you going all in on the vinyl and just pulling the cord. You're like, all right,
Yeah.
it's over.
For
And this room with
sure.
the subs and like the speakers, this is like the dedicated listening room, or is it also like
Yeah. Yeah.
really it doesn't double as like a living room to have people over? It's just a listening room.
No, it's just a listening room.
Oh, dude, that's the dream.
All wood too.
Yeah, that's great. And you just crank it in there. Wow, I love it. Ryan, thank you so much for being here and answering my like 50 questions in a row.
For sure. That's fun. Thanks, guys.
All right, Gemma and Nate are on to the final. It's a best of 3 series to determine who gets the $50 REI gift card. Very exciting. Let's play.
Dust are crashing, pouring inside into ashes. Breeze and shadows, the four sisters from the axis. Searchlight casting for faults in the clouds of delusion. Shall we go, you and I, while we can?
All right. Dark Star at the Crystal Ballroom in Portland, Oregon on February 2nd, 1968. This earlier recording of Dark Star wasn't widely available until Road Trips Volume 2, Number 2 came out in 2009, and there are 2 other Dark Stars featured on the compilation record. Gemma, you guessed 1968 and you got it exactly. How'd you figure that one out?
That's a tough one. I was really, it was either really early or I was way, way out there. The recording sound was a big part of it. That sort of you could hear the air around them. And I thought I heard it was difficult. I was really keying into the keys, and I thought it sounded like Tom. But it was just doing the same riff over and over, and that made me reconsider that and throw that out for a while. That was a tough one. And then right at the last minute where I was like, okay, you got to write an answer, I was like, do that thing where you go with the gut. So I decided to go with early. But Jerry's voice threw me off. He sounded like he was having a good time at that show.
Did he?
That's why I
did
was
you
like,
find-
whoa, Jerry, chill out, man. But yeah.
So him having a good time, what did that make you think? It was later or something?
No, well, yeah. So his voice, he sounded like he was up in the stars himself a little bit. So that lower, more rounded. He had some reverb to his voice. I was struggling to listen to that pure kind of Jerry voice from those early years, but it is Dark Star. So, he's probably playing with playing vocally as well, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe he was just having a real good time up there in the stars as well.
Well, it was a great poll. Nate, you guessed 1969, only 1 year off. Hard to parse when you get that close. Why'd you guess 69?
I think I played it a little bit too safe there. I was sitting here deciding between 68 and 69 the whole time. I went for the safe option of 69. I should have went for the gusto, like she said, go with your gut and go with earlier. That definitely did the audio quality. It was straight off the bat. It was 68 or 69. Swung the wrong way this time. Hopefully don't do that again.
Cool. All right, Gemma needs one more to become the new champion of Guest of the Year and earn a $50 REI gift card. Nate needs one more to stay alive. Let's play the song.
Pistol shot, 5 o'clock. The bells of heaven ring. Tell me what you done it for. No, I won't tell you a thing. Yesterday I held you before I hit the ground. All I leave behind me is only what I found.
All right. China Doll at Cal Expo in Sacramento on June 9th, 1984. China Doll was on 1973's Wake of the Flood, but another alternate version was recorded a year later for From the Mars Hotel, though it was never released. Nate, you guessed 1993, and you were closer. You even up the series. What'd you hear that made you guess 93?
I thought I heard like Vince's tinny keyboard in the background. In all transparency, I don't listen to anything after typically 82, maybe an 83. I really don't dabble in anything 84 to 86. So that definitely caught me off guard. It's just too much heroin coked out. I like more of the psychedelic vibes. Those aren't the type of drugs I want to hear them play music on.
And then what year in that early era is your favorite, if you have one?
Anything before like 71 or before, anything before 72. I know everyone loves 72 and 77. Anything before 72 is my ballpark of what I listen to on a daily basis. See, I've thought about that. One drummer, honestly, I don't think I'm a one drummer guy because Mickey leaves in February of 71. And late 71 is all right. And once you start getting into 72, they start they start doing a lot of the harmonization. They start to smooth stuff out. It sounds real nice on Europe 72 for the average like consumer. Warner Bros. Did a great job at making them consumer friendly at that time, in my opinion, especially compared to their acid test stuff. But yeah, it's I think I am a two drummer guy, but I don't know. I guess it would depend on the day. Sometimes one drummer, Bill is he holds down the fort when Mickey's gone.
So you're not really into the Cumberland blues harmonization type stuff.
They do really try for that Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young vibe of let's try to harmonize everyone. They're not good singers like Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. That's not their strength. Their strength is the rock band that likes to jam, as Gemma was saying. They're good at jamming. They're not the best at harmonizing. Not that it's not good, it's definitely the best that they harmonize out of any of their years. Just not comparable to the psychedelic kind of 20-minute jams that I typically listen to.
Love it. Gemma, you guessed
Yeah.
1968. What'd you hear there?
I was reeling from the Dark Star before too. Really trying to listen to again. So I think you, Nate, following on from Nate, we have similar dead preferences. I don't know, I've got a lot of blanks. I wouldn't have known who was playing those keys, for example. I was desperately trying to figure it out. Jerry's voice came in again, not sounding too great again. But yeah, just like last time, I was going from this low to this high. Last time, at least, I could tell by the audio recording. But Jerry's voice threw me off. Whoever was playing keys, Vince, thank you. It threw me off. I wasn't.
Oh, it was Brent,
I
actually.
was. Oh, it was Brent. Sorry, it was Brent. I wasn't gonna. Was it Brent? God damn. So I wasn't. What year was it?
84.
Oh, okay. Even later. Okay, all right. So no, I wasn't gonna. I wasn't gonna get that one. So, oh well, disappointed. Well done, Nate, though. That's you pulled through. That's great. Yeah.
All right. Gemma and Nate are tied 1-1 going to a decisive game 3. We haven't had this in weeks on the or maybe it has, I forget. This is why they play Guest of the Year, everyone. Gemma and Nate, game 3. Let's play the song.
The warden led the prisoner down the hallway to his doom. I stood up to say goodbye like all the rain. And I heard him tell the warden just before they reached my cell, let my guitar play, friend, sing my request. Sing me back home a song I used to make my old memory come alive.
The guesses are in. Sing Me Back Home at the Lyceum Theatre in London on May 26th, 1972. The song was performed 40 times between 71 and 73, then never played again. Nate got it exactly 72. Gemma, you were 1 year off, 1973. What a finish. Nate, you're the new champion. Congratulations.
Woo.
So you knew that was Europe 72.
Actually, in my chat to you, I thought it was Veneta. I thought it was August of 72. I thought it was the Veneta show.
Oh.
I was 3 months off, but definitely gave me that heavy, like I was just describing. They were all harmonizing. They were really hitting that Europe 72. Everybody sing at once. Let's show them how it's done. Kind of giving it all type vibe. Real clean, real refined. Donna even sounded good. I know there's a lot of Donna haters out there. Shout out to Donna.
So that harmonizing you didn't mind.
It's weird with music. I tend to lean towards like higher pitch stuff. Like you got random feedback in the early psychedelic stuff. I'm a big fan of Donna for that reason. A lot of people don't like her coming in and quote unquote screeching or whatever some people call it. I think she nails it almost every time. There are some times where I'm like, all right, like calm down. But like I feel like she's critical in songs like this, where she chimes in and playing in the band. She really adds that extra element. It's another reason why I'm a big fan of Jerry Garcia band. They got the double female backup singers. Uh, Late Jerry Garcia band with those backup singers is phenomenal. They add a whole nother element to all the lyrics, especially when Jerry's voice is a little weaker later. They really help pick up that vocal, like the need for vocals that you're looking for without getting into that cheesy Bobby. He gets a little cheesy in the 80s, 90s. So it gives you something to listen to later on. Big female singer background. Big fan of that.
So do you have a favorite Jerry Garcia band show?
That's a good one. The album Electric on the Eel's pretty good. That's like 3 different years. I think that's like 87, 80, 87, 89, 91. That's some good late Jerry Garcia band. If you're looking for early stuff, his stuff before Jerry Garcia band started in 75. Kind of around when she was saying old and in the way. He also did a ton of stuff with Merle Saunders. That is phenomenal. I love his Legion of Mary stuff. Just Jerry and Merle Saunders band. All of that stuff from like 71, 72 on through 74 until they went on hiatus and he picked up Jerry Garcia band in 75. Those are good if you're looking for early like Jerry projects.
So you like New Riders too?
Like New Riders with Jerry on the slide guitar for sure. New Riders 6970, phenomenal. I have their first album with Jerry on the pedal steel. After that, I could take it or leave it.
Gemma, you were only 1 year off. You guessed 73. A very, very good run. What'd you hear there?
I was listening hard for the drums. Very lovely, touchy, lots of space. And it was obviously those early 70 years. It was a struggle to pick. I don't think I'd have picked two. I think I'd have picked like one or three like I did. I have no idea why that's what I was tossing up there. Donna did sound good. Donna does sound good a lot of the time. Again, I'm in agreement with Nate here. Sorry, boys, but yeah, I'm a Donna fan too. And she could sing. She could sing. She could also, do some other strange things, bless her. But yeah, they all sounded keyed in. It was the space. There was like the timing there was so lovely. They had it nailed in. It was lovely. I'd like to hear more of that. Actually, that'd be lovely to hear more of that. Don't know why 73. It was a guess between those early years, and that's what it was. So a good run though. Yeah, I enjoyed competing with you there, Nate. It was good. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was a great competition.
Yeah.
So you kind of like the early 70s then when the band was super sharp.
Yeah. I love the 60s stuff for the sort of experimentation, the noises they create, the freedom that kind of comes from their vocals back then. And then 70s, they seem keyed in to each other, those early years early 70s were pretty spectacular. 72 is lovely too, of course. I'm going to take a listen to that after we go for sure. I do. I really enjoy. You can hear it with any good band, any good musicians. When they're on, and if they're all on, I mean, that's just when magic happens. And that sounded like some magic was about to happen there in that song.
You saw Further. I've never really listened to Further. How would you compare their sound? Obviously, they're not the Dead. No one's the Dead. But now, having listened to a lot about the Dead, how would you characterize Further's sound?
That's a very difficult question for me. So that was 8, 9, 10 years ago. 8, 9, more than that. Oh, don't let me count. And and you know how I said it sounded like Jerry was having a really good time in one of his earlier songs. I was having a really good time on that Further night too.
Mm.
So, you know, it's the whole and it was Red Rocks. So a huge there wasn't a wall of sound, obviously, but huge noise coming off those guys. So there was light show. I'd never heard a single Grateful Dead song in my life. So I didn't know what I was watching. I just knew I was watching something that everybody else around me was there for and was there for that magic, you know. But yeah, I couldn't do a comparison. I haven't listened to them much since that show. It was further gave me the knowledge that the Grateful Dead existed, and that's what they gave me. And then I went to Dead and Jerry, and I haven't gone back to Further, but maybe I should. Maybe I should.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Gemma. Really appreciate you being here. All right, subscribe to Guest of the Year on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. For show updates, follow us at Guest of the Year Show on Instagram. And if you want to be a contestant on the show, sponsor the show, or make comments, ask questions, email us at guestoftheyearshow@gmail.com. Thanks to Dylan, who's been drawing the posters, which you can check out on our Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. For the fun facts, I relied heavily on Dead.net, Dead Disc, and Grateful Dead of the Day and their commenters. Thank you. Thanks to the amazing tapers whose recordings made this show possible. Congratulations to our new winner, Nate, and to our other contestants. Thanks for playing, and remember, it's all one song anyways.
Good night, good night, and I bid you good night, good night, good night.